In this lecture, we will take a look at the different ways in which we can make use of input variables in Terraform. So far, we have created input variables in Terraform and assigned default values to it based on a variable type. This is just one of the ways to pass in values to the variable. Earlier, we learned that the default parameter in a variable block is optional. This means that we can very well have our variable block look like this. But what would happen if we run Terraform commands now? When we run Terraform apply, we will be prompted to enter values for each variable used in an interactive mode. If you do not want to supply values in an interactive mode, we can also make use of command line flags like this. With the Terraform command, we can make use of the -var option with the variable name equals to the value format. We can pass in as many variables as we want with this method by making use of the -var flag multiple times. We can also make use of environment variables with the tf_var_ followed by the name of a declared variable like this. In this example, the tf_var_ file name sets the value of the variable called filename to the value /root/pets.txt. And similarly, the variable called length now has the value of 2. And finally, when we are dealing with a lot of variables, we can load values by making use of variable definition files like this. These variable definition files can be named anything, but should always end in either .tfvars or .tfvars.json. Here, we have declared variables and their values in a file called terraform.tfvars. If you look at the syntax used to create this file, you'll observe that this is using the same syntax of an HCL file, but it only consists of variable assignments. The variable definition file, if called terraform.tfvars or terraform.tfvars.json, or by any other name ending with .auto.tfvars or .auto.tfvars.json, will be automatically loaded by Terraform. If we use any other file name, such as variable.tfvars, for example, you will have to pass it along with a command line flag called -var-file like this. Finally, it is important to note that we can use any of the options that we have seen in this lecture to assign values to the variables. But if we use multiple ways to assign values for the same variable, Terraform follows a variable definition precedence to understand which value it should accept. To illustrate this, let us make use of a simple example. In this case, we have a main configuration file with a single resource, a local file which will create file at a path declared in a variable called filename. In the variables.tf file, we have not specified a default value for this variable. And we have assigned different values to this variable in multiple ways. We have exported the environment variable called tf_var_filename with the value of /root/cats.txt. The terraform.tfvar file has a value of /root/pets.txt for the same variable. We have also made use of a variable definition file with the name variable.auto.tfvars with the value of /root/mypet.txt. And finally, we are also making use of the -var option while running the Terraform apply command with the value of /root/bestpet.txt. So in this case, which one of these values would be accepted? Terraform follows a variable definition precedence order to determine this. First, it loads the environment variables. Next, the value in the terraform.tfvars file. This is followed by any file that ends with the .auto.tfvars or .auto.tfvars.json in an alphabetical order. And finally, Terraform considers the command line flag of -var or -var-file, which takes the highest priority and will override any of the previous values. In this case, the variable file name will be assigned the value of /root/bestpet.txt. That's it for this lecture.